I really didn't want to talk before I talk about Albert Hainsworth. I have to talk about Colin Cowherd. Now, why is Colin Cowherd relevant in terms of Commander's demand? The other day, he did a topic about quarterbacks that couldn't win a Super Bowl, former and present quarterbacks. One of the quarterbacks that he mentioned was Dwayne Haskins Jr. Dwayne Haskins passed away more than a year ago. I think he was 24 or 25 years old at the time. Used to play for the Washington football team. Was drafted, I think, with the 15th, 16th overall pick was in the 2019 NFL draft. Only lasted 2 years with Washington. He later goes to Pittsburgh, plays with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and unfortunately, life cut short at the age of 24 years old. My problem with Colin Cowherd is why bring up Dwayne Haskins? Dwayne Haskins, unfortunately, is no longer here. Yes, I get it that his career didn't pan out the way it did. But if you're Colin Cowherd, if you are the producers, the president of Fox Sports 1, or anyone on Fox Sports 1, before you went on the air and actually discussed that topic, couldn't you at least take the time and say, nah, we're not going to bring up Dwayne Haskins? And that's the problem that I have with this when it comes to Colin Cowherd and FS1. That was totally insensitive. That was totally irresponsible. You mean you couldn't at least take the time before you went on the air and say, wait a minute, maybe we shouldn't do this. We shouldn't talk about Dwayne Haskins in this fashion. His career, I mean, he's no longer with us anymore. It's best that we could talk about the subject, just not include his name, because we all know how bad it's going to look, and it did. It looked horrible, in my opinion, because Dwayne Haskins is no longer with us anymore. Yes, I get it. His career didn't pan out the way it did in Washington. And but why bring it up? Knowing that he's no longer with us anymore. If you're Colin Cowherd and if you're Fox Sports, why? You could have at least just take the time and say, wait a minute, we could talk about the subject. We don't have to bring up Dwayne Haskins. Considering what happened to him. And if we talk about him like this way, we're going to get a lot of controversy. And they did. As for further consequences, what should happen to Colin Cowherd? Do I believe he's going to lose his job? The answer is no. No, I do not believe for a second he will lose his job. And the reason why he will not lose his job is because, look, just like Skip Bayless, he has an enormous platform. He has a huge platform. And with Fox Sports, production and tolerance. When the production is high, so is the tolerance. And because just like Skip Bayless, Colin Cowherd is going to stay on Fox Sports. I don't believe he's going to get fired. I don't see him losing his job or anything like that. Because look, let's look at Skip Bayless for an example. Since I brought up Skip Bayless, do you remember the irresponsible comments, the insensitive comments Skip Bayless made about Dak Prescott a couple of years ago about his mental health, his anxiety? And think of what Dak Prescott had to go through. Losing his brother. Years before he lost his mom. And for Skip Bayless to say that, I thought it was incredibly irresponsible and insensitive. And of course, no one is ever going to forget what happened with DeMar Hamlin. And of course, Skip Bayless's tweet about the situation, which ultimately pissed Shannon Sharp off. Shannon Sharp didn't come to work the next day. And then the day after that, he's giving his monologue. He says, although I disagree with Skip's tweet and hopefully I'm going to take it down, Skip said, timeout. I'm not going to take down the tweet because I stand by it. And Shannon was pissed off. And you could just tell from that point, something terrible was going to happen. I don't believe Colin Cowherd will get punished. But I really do want him to learn a very valuable lesson. I thought how the way he approached this topic was totally irresponsible and insensitive.